So people who are losing people like during this pandemic, or people die every day from cancer, car crashes, or you name it, people losing loved ones, or people who just lost their job, or who don't know what to do with the rest of their life, they're stuck in depression,
Mhm.
chronic anxiety, fear. What do you say to folks like that who think, yeah, how could I ever be happy again?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I say absolutely for those of you who've lost somebody, I send you my condolences for that. Grief is a natural emotion, and it's not about suppressing that natural emotion. My mother-in-law passed away a few months ago. My father-in-law is literally in transition right now as we're speaking. So this is and certainly grief is natural. But what I also know is that those people who have this inner state of peace and well-being are able to ride the waves of life and be resilient and bounce back. So my advice is to, no matter what you're in the midst of, do what you can to raise your happiness set point, and you will be stronger, more creative, more capable of bouncing, of coming back from anything with greater resilience and ease. And I, there's a scientific reason for this, and let me just explain about this happiness set point, because that really explains it all. The happiness set point, according to the scientists, it's only 10% based on our circumstances. Now that is a tiny piece of the pie, so it's that's not that relevant. It's 50% our genetics, our genes. We're born with it. I was not born with the happy genes. And the other 40% is our habits of thoughts and behavior. Now, that's what we can really change the most to raise our happiness set point. And I'm going to take it a step further and say that there are scientists in the field of epigenetics, people like Dr. Bruce Lipton, who study our genes, the genetics, the DNA. And they will say that that 50% that's genetic can be influenced or changed by changing our habits of thoughts and behavior, which means 90% of our happiness set point is changeable. So that's what we want to focus on. What are the habits that happy people have that everybody else doesn't?
Well, I think that is the perfect next question to ask you. What are those habits?
How do we get there? So I'm so glad you asked that. So there are 21 of them. And of course, we don't have time to go through all 21 of them. But what I found is that they fell into 7 main categories. And what I want to do is I want to go through these 7 main categories, and I want you to notice, I want everyone who's listening, notice which one you're the weakest in, because wherever you're the weakest, that's where you're going to want to start. And so there are, I know it's hard for people to remember 7 of anything. So I created an analogy. It's called building your inner home for happiness. A home has 7 components. It's got a foundation, 4 corner pillars, a roof, and a garden. So here's how that relates to building your inner home for happiness. The foundation is taking responsibility for your life and your happiness. So that has to do with whether you show up in life as a victim or as a creator. Victims, you know you're in victim behavior when you're blaming, shaming, or complaining. Blaming others, shaming, which is blaming yourself, or complaining a lot. So this is the very foundation, is taking responsibility, knowing I have a say in my happiness. I'm not going to base it on my spouse's behavior or whether or not I have a job. I'm going to raise my happiness set point anyway. Then there's the 4 pillars. And the pillars are the pillar of the mind. Do your thoughts support your happiness? The pillar of the heart. How are you open-hearted? Are you living with gratitude and forgiveness and loving kindness and generosity? The pillar of the body. Do you have the biochemistry of happiness? And I know that's something that a lot of the work that you all do focuses on that, which I so love and appreciate deeply. And then there's the pillar of the soul, which has to do with our feeling of connectedness to the greater energy of the universe, whether you call it God or the divine or oneness or creative intelligence, doesn't matter. So there's the pillar of the mind, the heart, the body, and the soul. Then there's the roof, and the roof is your purpose or passion in life. Are you living an inspired life? Do you wake up in the morning knowing that you are doing what you are here on this planet to be doing? And I definitely believe that each of us is here with a with specific lessons and a specific purpose. And then finally, there's the garden. And the garden has to do with who are you surrounding yourself with? Do you have a garden surrounded with a lot of wonderful people supporting your happiness, the roses and gardenias, or the people who are dragging you down, the weeds in the garden? So I want you to look at all 7 of those areas and honestly decide, where do you think you're the weakest?
We hope you enjoyed this short excerpt from the Health and Healing Club. This entire video, including an in-depth discussion and thoughtful and inspiring questions and answers, is available inside the Health and Healing Club, along with hundreds of hours of premium and exclusive life-changing content, practices, and holistic, natural, and integrative solutions for health and healing. You can start your free trial today at healthandhealingclub.com.